That's a fun way to start the year. So, we're going to do something that hopefully I get to do a lot this year. And you're welcome to do this with me. So if you need to warm up your shoulders, pause the video, make sure you're fine, and warm up your shoulders if you need to. Okay, you ready? Alright, let's do this. Condors win 2-1 over the San Diego Gulls. Now, before we even get to the pregame stuff, there's one thing I want to say. Now, I'm going to preface it by saying, obviously, I love any win the Condors have. Whether it's a 1-goal win, a 10-goal win, against a team in the Eastern Conference, or against a team who's 3 hours away. I don't care. A win is great. A win against a team in the Western Conference is great. It's even better. A win against a team in our division is really great. Beating San Diego is... it just is so much better than anything else. I mean, anything else that I've experienced with this team, except for maybe the playoffs, nothing comes close to beating San Diego. I don't care if the Condors looked horrible, after the 2-goal, after the 2-0 goal. I love beating San Diego. Getting to shut them up, shut the team up and their fans. It's nice. So, with my vitriol of Gulls fans and the team addressed, let's talk about a little bit of the pregame stuff. So, first thing I noticed, the Condors warm-up jerseys are nice. Now, some of you are going to say, well, why does that matter? Well, one, it's my video, so I can talk about whatever I want. And second, I'm a bit of a jersey nerd, so seeing cool jerseys is always interesting to me. Second thing I noticed is the big old black curtain that was clearly hiding the Pacific Division Championship banner. Now, it was a little sad that they didn't, skate it onto the ice and then lift it up to the rafters, but you know what? It's Bakersfield. We're not about the flash and the pomp and circumstance. No, we're here to do our job. So I thought that fit the city's personality pretty well. So then after warm-ups and right after warm-ups, they announce all the players, all the coaches, and then we get to the captains, which there's no surprise. It's still Captain Keegan Lowe with assistants Brad Malone and Josh Curry. Really, with all three of them coming back this year, it was kind of their job to lose, as captains. So, sure, would I like to see Curry as the captain? Absolutely. I would love to see Josh Curry be the captain of this team. And if he ever is, I will have no issue buying a Josh Curry jersey and wearing it every day. Well, every game day. I'll have no issue with that. But I'm cool with Keegan Lowe as the captain. He steps up when he needs to. He's good with the refs. We're cool. I'd like him to be a little more offensive, but whatever. He does his job very well. So, with the slight pomp and circumstance that the Condors do out of the way, let's talk about the game. So, puck drops, and oh my goodness, the Condors look angry that San Diego eliminated them last year. They were just merciless defensively, getting all kinds of good offensive chances, quick shifts, passes were nice. and it led to the Condors getting a 7-0 shot advantage about 10 minutes into the game. Well, yeah, about 10 minutes in. San Diego didn't get their first shot until 9 minutes and 10 seconds into the game. So for the first, 9-ish minutes, Bakersfield was shutting it down defensively. And it led to an absolutely gorgeous goal for Josh Curry. So, puck comes into the offensive zone, gets back to Evan Bouchard, who sees Tyler Benson all the way on the other side of the zone. And Bouchard, noted good offensive defenseman, sees the passing lane, sees Tyler, and he says, kid stuff. Fires it over to Benson. Now, what the Gulls didn't notice was Josh Curry kind of sneaking in the back door like a kid caught out after curfew. But you know who did notice it? Noted, also very good offensive player, Tyler Benson. He fires a rocket of a pass to the back door to Curry. Now, really, all Josh had to do to score there is probably just tip it in. No, he decided he wanted to try and fire it through the net, through the boards, out into the concourse. He almost put the puck through the net. And boy, was he pumped after that. And I mean, yeah, he should be. He scored first. He scored for a fan base who loves him. He scored the first goal of the year. He scored the first goal of the year at home, and he scored the first goal of the game. Who wouldn't be pumped after that? Especially after you were running the Gulls show all game up to that point. And I mean, yeah, Kiefer Sherwood gets a shot about a minute later, but that makes the shot 7-1. At 10 minutes in. And then the Condors, still being merciless, decide, you know what? A 1-goal lead? No, not good enough. They decide to make it 2-0. And this goal was just hard work. I mean, this is a Jay Woodcroft goal. Bring your lunch pail and go to work. So the puck is, I believe it was Malone fired a shot. Jones picked it up. I think he tried to shoot again. And San Diego has no clue where the puck is. They're looking for it. They're whacking at sticks. They're trying to find it. And Anthony Stolars is doing the same thing. He's, crap, where is it? Where's the puck? And he sprawls out. Try and stop, try and cover as much of the net as you can. Kyler Yamamoto is the only guy who actually knows where it is. And he picks it up. Stolars goes down, which, bad choice, because Kyler Yamamoto roofs the puck possibly higher than his own body. He might have fired it over his own height. But hey, it went in. 2-0 Condors. And then the Condors kind of decided to just crawl into a shell and hope that a 2-0 goal or a 2-0 lead would stay. Because, oh boy, the Gulls turned it on in the last 5 minutes of that period. I think they had, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4 shots to the Condors 3. After that goal, they had 7 to the Condors 3. So Bakersfield kind of huddled up and decided to stop playing offense, which is concerning. But you know what? We killed off a penalty, and 2-0 lead going into the first intermission. Now, the penalty that I am referring to is a bad call. I don't know if it was referee Furman South who called it, or the other referee, Guillaume Labonte, but one of you two messed up that call. Because it didn't look like Curry shoved the guy at all. It looked like he just ran into him trying to get to the puck. Honestly, watching it again, it looked like the other guy stopped knowing Curry was behind him. So that he would get crashed into. So they call it, and Josh goes off for interference for 2 minutes, but because he's hurt, Cooper Marody serves it. The Condors penalty kill only gives up 1 shot on that, and does a really good job of keeping the goals off the board. So with that, we go into the first intermission with the Condors with a 2-goal lead and an 11-8 shot advantage. However, immediately going into the second, San Diego decided that they weren't going to get shut out this game. In the second, sure, the Condors got the first 2 shots, but then San Diego just decided, nope, we're scoring this game. And they got the vast majority of the chances. The Condors really kind of got score effects and said, okay, you know what, a 2-goal lead is good. We can just defend this with our lives. And who cares about offense? And it comes back to bite them. So this goal was just another bad defensive breakdown. But Starrett, who up to this point had been the Condors' MVP of the second, really kind of overcommitted on the first shot. It wasn't actually a shot. It looked like Sprong faked it. And then he passes it. He makes a gorgeous pass backdoor to Kiefer Sherwood, and that makes it 2-1. Starrett had no chance. His defense was questionable on this goal. His positioning, I get why he would really overcommit to the to the Sprong shot, but I would have liked to see him commit a little bit less and be ready for that pass. But you know what? The Condors are still winning. They're getting, a little bit of offense. Fine. Then the Condors draw a penalty as Maxime Comtois goes off for a slash, but they do nothing on it. They get 1 shot. And even then, if I remember correctly, it was a shot from outside the circles. It was just bad. Passes were bad. Just losing the puck at the blue line. It was just a god-awful penalty, or god-awful power play. But I do have to give Anthony Stolarz some credit. The shot on the 1 shot on the penalty, or on the penalty kill for San Diego that the Condors got, he robbed Kyler Yamamoto. It looked like it was a for sure goal. And if I'm remembering correctly, because I didn't exactly write down when this save happened, if I'm remembering correctly, then it was a pass from my vantage point all the way across the ice. It was a pass from my right to my left. So, and it looked like Stolarz had no shot on this, because he looked like he was all the way over here. and somehow he just throws himself across the ice and gloves it like it's nothing. I may hate the goals, but that's a damn good save by Anthony Stolarz. Starrett was the MVP of the second for the Condors, and he was the only reason why the goals didn't score 5 or 6 in this period alone. Because they had a couple of really good chances on the, in this period. So my next note was that Anthony Peluso, who I thought, even though he didn't create much offense, had a really good game for what he brings to the team. He was physical, he was mean on the boards, he looked good defensively. So I wrote that he's a little bit closer in this game to a Jerome McGinley than a Marty McSorley. Now, I picked Iginla because he was a bruising power forward who could also fight, whereas McSorley seemed to be a guy who could fight, who kind of benefited from playing with Wayne Gretzky. Again, while Peluso didn't get much offense, he seemed to kind of be the cooler, I think is a phrase the Condors used. When they announced that they had signed him. He kind of, there were a couple moments where I thought that he was skating by the goals bench and might have said something. Then I also wrote down that the Condors gotta work on defending the stretch pass. Because I saw this last year too. The Condors would dump it in and go for a change. As teams usually do. But they aren't quick on getting on and off the ice. So it lets a lot of teams pick the puck up and just keep one guy at the blue line. So they fire it, to that one guy. And it always gets through because they're on the other side of the bench and none of the Condors get over there quick enough. Even if they keep one guy out, to defend against the stretch pass. So if any of the Condors coaching staff or the players are watching this, one, thank you for watching this. Obviously, you know better than me, but this is just what I notice. Maybe be a little quicker on getting to that stretch pass. And then we get to a penalty that made me very angry at the game. The Daniel Sprong double minor for roughing. So Sprong gets a pretty good shot on Starrett, which makes sense. He's played in the NHL. He came into the league with a good shot, anyways. But then he takes a whack at Shane after the whistle, and Keegan Lowe, being the captain, pulls him over and says, "Hey, you can't do that. Don't touch my goalie, especially not after the whistle." And he kind of gets him away from Shane. And Sprong, being a competitor, doesn't appreciate that, as one likely won't. But he decides, instead of just kind of pushing Keegan off, and skating back to his bench or to the face-off dot or wherever he was gonna go, decides, you know what? I'm gonna punch Keegan Lowe in the face. And so he does. And sure, that's a penalty. For sure, that's a penalty. And they skate Daniel Sprong off. But then I see why is the Condors penalty box open? And I see them skating Keegan Lowe over. And really, Guillaume Furman, getting punched in the face is a penalty. when you don't do anything other than pull a guy away from your goalie. That's a penalty. Are you sure? It's a joke, is what it is. That was a terrible call, and Guillaume Labonte and Furman South should be ashamed of themselves for that call, and a bunch of other missed calls. It was a very playoff-esque game in that the refs swallowed their whistles. And it benefits San Diego because, well, they're kind of a dirty team. And if any fans tell you differently, they've drank the Kool-Aid. I dislike the way San Diego plays, to put it lightly. For example, there was what I felt was a missed call right after that for embellishment on Anthony Stolarz. Of course, I might have also just not seen it properly, but it looked like one of the Condors took a shot on net, and we go crashing for the rebound as we usually do, and it looked like one of our guys touched Anthony Stolarz, and he just he flops back. Helmet goes halfway to the boards. So, from my eyes, looks like he might have, tried to sell that he got touched. But, to be fair, it might also be rose-colored glasses for me. Or should it be orange-colored glasses or blue-colored glasses? What I'm saying is, it might be Condor bias. So immediately after that, I have to give Anthony Stolarz credit again. He made a phenomenal save on a 2-on-1 for the coming down for the Condors. It looked, if I remember correctly, it was Tyler Benson and Josh Curry. Benson, again, being noted playmaker. Josh Curry being noted benefactor of said playmaker. Benson puts a little bit of a sauce on a pass over to Curry. And Josh, vying for his second of the game, just rips it. And Stolarz says, no, I don't feel like it. Makes a great save. I have to give him credit for that. That was one of the multiple saves he made that made me just stand up and say, wow. Anthony Stolarz, if he plays like that for the rest of the year, should probably challenge for the NHL backup in Anaheim next year. I have to give him credit. He was the only reason that the Condors did not score 3 or 4 in this game. That and the Condors, especially in this game, blocked a lot of shots. Which is a good thing, in that you're stopping Shane from having to make, all these rebound saves and high danger saves. But it's also bad because that means that, San Diego's got the puck in our zone, which is never a good time. Shots in this one, they end up being 19-19, or they end up being 19 apiece, with San Diego getting 11 and the Condors getting 8. So this one, well, I gave the first period to the Condors. The second period definitely was the goals. They were driving the bus in that period. So I come back, having gotten some food, and I see, okay, the guys are out. Let's see who Jay starts with. And I mean, it's the same lineup as the first period. So, okay, no real changes. So Jay must have thought that we did okay in the second. Which, I mean, okay, fair. When we did get chances, we got some good ones. Um, and almost immediately, Gambardella gets robbed again. He could have had 2 or 3 in this game. If Stolars hadn't made some absolutely incredible saves. That was just 40 seconds in. So we could have had a 3-1 lead less than a minute in. And the puck just kept bouncing San Diego's way. The Condors were either making bad passes, the puck was hopping, or we were hitting posts. Gagne gets a shot, which, hey, cool, doesn't go in. So we got a power play in this, as Hunter Drew slashes, I don't remember who he slashed, I don't think I saw it that well. So he goes and sits for 2 minutes, and the Condors get nothing on this power play. I don't know if that's to San Diego's credit or to the Condors' discredit, but it was a sloppy power play. We couldn't settle down the puck, couldn't get passes on, couldn't keep the puck. It was just, ugh. Find the footage of that power play and burn it. Burn that footage. Do not watch it again. I wrote that San Diego was also just blocking every shot imaginable. Any shot that they could get to, they were trying to block it. Which, hey, you know what? Good for them. They're trying to do the same thing that we were with Starrett. I wrote that Yamamoto, who I thought also had a very good game, was starting to get a little bit physical. I noticed this in the preseason game, in that he was starting to, it looked like he bulked up a little bit. He was starting to throw his weight around, which honestly, even though he's, one of the smaller guys on this team, I don't mind that. I don't mind him adding a bit of a physical edge to his game. Because with how shifty he is and how fast and how small, people were going to look to try and light him up. Kind of like how they do with, guys like Johnny Gaudreau, Tyler Johnson, and other smaller guys in the NHL. So if he can add a physical side to his game, and also get faster and stronger, and get better with his shot, I'm all for that. Just because you're small doesn't mean you can't go after some big guys. So I thought Yamamoto did really well in this game. Bouchard looked slow to me on a couple plays. That, and other than his first, the pass to Benson back in the first, some of his passes were questionable. But that was also the entire team, after the Yamamoto goal. I wrote that the Condors had to start hitting the net, because we were just missing what felt like every shot. That and the passes. Oh, dear God, the passes. The passes in this game after the first were god-awful. I don't know if it was rust, or if it was a lack of practice, or if it was San Diego was just really good at breaking up passes. Or it might have been a combination of all three. But their passes after the first were bad. To me, regardless of whatever the Condors gave the first star to, my first star was Shane Starrett. He made, while Stolars made the flashier saves, Starrett made the more clutch saves, in my opinion. Because San Diego was just firing shot after shot after shot, on Shane. So Stolars deserves credit for what he did, but the saves he had to make were not as big as the ones Starrett had to make. I also hated how defensively the Condors were playing. Because I get, trying to defend a lead. But there's also crawling into a shell and hoping that you don't give up a goal. And that's what the Condors did. Malone was called for a really phantom hooking call. But the Condors kill it off without getting a shot, or without giving up a shot. I got to give credit to the penalty kill on the Condors for this game. And the goals too. Both of them went 3 for 3, and both of them only gave up one shot on like all 3 penalty kills. So there was a total of 2 shots total on the power play. So you really do have to give credit to, I believe it's Dave Manson who runs the penalty kill. And I don't know who runs it for the goals. But both of them did a really good job with their penalty kills last night. I wrote that Stolars was absolutely bound and determined to keep it 2-1, which, sure, is his job, but, he was just playing out of his mind, with some of the saves he had to make. And then we get to noted penalty killer Brad Malone. Now, I told this to my friend and my little brother, who I took to this game, after the game was over. I said that I love Brad Malone. I love the veteran presence that he brings to this team. I love how he, scores some clutch goals. He's kind of the guy to, kind of smack some heads and say, hey, let's go. But he also takes horribly timed penalties, which, as a noted penalty killer on this team, is not good. He ends up taking 2 hooking calls in the span of about 3 minutes. The first one was, I didn't see a hook regardless. And the second one looked like it was behind the play, which, if you're gonna hook someone, don't do it behind the play, Brad. Especially not with their net already empty, and with them, having gotten, a couple shots. Oh, my apologies. They had one. No, that's 1959. Sorry. Basically, the goals, like they did in the first, really turned it on in the last 5 minutes of the third. And it helps that one of the Condors' better penalty killers was in the box for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. That's a horribly timed penalty to take, because that led to a couple of phenomenal chances that, granted, the Condors cleared or blocked, but, you can't take a penalty in a 1-goal game with 45 seconds left, Brad. I don't know what you're doing. course, I also don't know why I'm that angry, because, hey, the Condors won. The 3 stars that the Condors gave out were Josh Curry, Kyler Yamamoto, and Shane Starrett in 1, 2, and 3 order. However, my 3 stars are Shane Starrett, number 1, Kyler Yamamoto, number 2, and then Condors fans aren't going to like this one. Anthony Stolarz gets the 3rd star for me. Starrett was the reason that San Diego only scored 1, and Stolarz was the reason the Condors didn't score 4 or 5. Yamamoto gets 2nd star because he potted the game winner. And, with that said, the Condors are undefeated. I don't care it's 1 game. They're undefeated. Team looks good. If we can, keep up the first 10-minute Condors throughout the year and throughout a full game, AHL better watch out.